Terrifier 3 hit theaters just a few days ago on October the 10th as it tried to outdo the insane nature of its predecessors. But does it? The short answer, yes, but the long answer is a little different. So stick with me as I will explain if Terrifier 3 is really that crazy. Let's get into it. Welcome back, I'm Sippin and I just left the theater having now seen Terrifier 3 twice. Yes, I'm really like that. No, but for real. I rewatched it in order to give you a better review and to be able to nail down my opinions on this movie. But before I dig into the meat of this film, Art the Clown style, this video will contain spoilers, so just be warned. Now with that out of the way, let's talk Terrifier 3. So, the opening. Before watching it, I kept hearing about the opening was crazy and so intense it left audience goers sick and even walking out. But was it really that bad? Yes. Well, yes and no. So the gore wasn't anything out of the ordinary for this franchise, but what was the fact that Art actually took out a kid in the opening minutes. Luckily, we don't see the moment happen, but unluckily, we see the aftermath, and that's the reason many felt uneasy about this entry. Art crossing that line into the taboo nature of eliminating a kid. That's very rare in the horror space, with most horror icons not stooping to that level. But it does happen, and when it does, it leaves me and many others shocked, even though it's seemingly happening more and more nowadays. I'm looking at you, 2018 Mikey. So shout out to my little trailer reaction as I did predict this could happen. But let's move on. This movie takes place 5 years after the events of Terrifier 2, but during the movie we also take trips down memory lane and see exactly how Art managed to survive and make it out of the hospital alongside Victoria, who actually plays a much larger role in this movie. By the way, stay to the end of the video as I will explain the possible origins of Art the Clown. They escape by luring a Chris Jericho over and tag team Hell in a Cell, eliminating him in a nasty way. Albeit a little underwhelming though. Bro was in the WWE back in the day. I would have loved to have seen a cool fight scene between them, and maybe they even hit Bro with a WWE wrestling move of his as like a nod to his past. Would have been fun. No offense to Jericho, but he won't be in that who's the best wrestler turned Hollywood actor conversation anytime soon, as his whole scene had Bro hitting this face. Art and Victoria eventually make it to some random old rundown home where they kind of just hit the pause button, where they would remain frozen until 5 years later, present-day demolition workers case the house but stumble on the two lovebirds, who quickly eliminate the workers. Now awakened, they begin their reign over Miles County yet again. Sienna has been in and out of mental hospitals reeling with the events of the previous movie. Because yeah, who wouldn't? I'm sure Jonathan was there with her as well. No? He's at college? Oh, okay, well good for him. Nah, everyone has their own ways of processing and moving on. But Sienna is picked up by her uncle Greg and is taken to her new home with her aunt Jess and her niece Gabby, who basically follows her everywhere. Like to the mall, for example. They head there in order to get presents for Christmas. Meanwhile, Art is walking down the street and spots Santa Claus. He fangirls over the jolly man and proceeds to have one of the funniest and over-the-top scenes in this movie. If you're also having a good time like Art then, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. It's obviously how he gets his Santa get up, so we know this Santa is about to be in some trouble. But getting to that point is great. Santa buys Art a drink and we see Art try alcohol for the first time and he is not a fan. But I'm a fan of the legendary Clint Howard, who is also in that scene. You love to see it. Or at least I do. I love to see it. Great scene, but now that Art is dressed as Santa, he heads to the mall. But instead of getting presents, he gives presents. He sits on Santa's chair and creepily gives out toys and gifts to all the children in the line. Finally, he gets escorted out by security because yeah, bro, it's creepy. But not before he gets to turn and see a kid opening a box, only to have that whole section of the mall just detonate. Yeah, for those that did not like the opening, I got bad news. Art goes crazy in this movie. Speaking of going crazy, next he heads over to a college party. But back at the Sienna residence, we see the family reel in sadness learning of that mall attack. But not Sienna. She knows who did this and she knows they are coming. After some convincing, Uncle Greg leaves to pick up Jonathan from school. But will they make it back? At that school, his roommate Cole and his spineless girlfriend Mia take a shower together, getting all romantical and whatnot. Also, yeah, Mia is spineless. Sorry about it. She has just been hounding my boy Jonathan and Sienna this whole movie about being on her true crime podcast. Like, let them try and heal, dog.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
But anyways, as they get their freak on, Art is emptying his tank and hilariously actually washes his hands after peeing. Like bro isn't always caked in the most vile of juices. The unbothered couple doesn't seem to notice Art cranking a chainsaw until he busts through the shower door and brutally, and I mean brutally, ends both Cole and Mia in an homage to the movie Psycho, but again, more brutal. I don't want to spoil too much about this for anyone that hasn't yet seen this movie. For some reason, go see the movie, man. But all I will say is Cole went out paying an homage to Don's death in the first movie, if you catch my drift. It's a hard watch, fellas. Let's talk about the ending, shall we? Art and Victoria capture Sienna and the rest of the family, minus Greg, as bro is already a tree ornament. Long story short, we learn more about Victoria's character, or should I say the little pale girl? Or should I really say the demon that uses their bodies as a vessel to walk among the living? Yeah, so after the events of 2, the demon left the little pale girl and took over Victoria. But for the sake of the video, I'm so just gonna call her Victoria. After a brutal kill involving a pipe, fire, and rats, we eventually see Sienna break free using her sword. She takes out Victoria and proceeds to have her battle with Art. Sword versus chainsaw. Their fight is great and not too drawn out, with no clear winner until Sienna is able to capitalize on Art losing his chainsaw. She pins him to a wall, but before she was able to end him, a hole to probably another dimension or something opens up beneath Gabby. Sienna tries to save her, but to no avail. She falls in, leaving Sienna having to find and save her in the inevitable 4th entry. The movie ends with Art the Clown taking yet another bus, escaping Sienna, but not before giving us one of his famous smiles. Terrifier 3 does live up to Terrifier 2 in many ways, and while I still think the alley bedroom scene is still the most intense kill in the franchise, Terrifier 3 has more over-the-top kills when compared to Terrifier 2. Also, I know I didn't mention this much, but apparently my boy Jonathan died. They showed his skull there at the end with his glasses, but I'm choosing to believe that wasn't him, as a major character in this franchise deserves more than an off-screen death. Plus, Victoria tried taking over Sienna's body, but in order to do that, Sienna has to let go, like fully. And I believe they were just kind of lying to her in order to get Sienna to just let go. Like I said in my previous video, this type of story isn't my favorite, but in this world, it fits. We learn more of Sienna and her dad and how she was chosen to defeat evil. So if you enjoyed Terrifier 2's story, then you will love this one, as it is more of the same, but told better and edited better. In Art the Clown, we learn a little bit more about his character. We learn that he is possibly a former serial killer that has died, and that his body is being used as a vessel by this demon that is also controlling Victoria's body at this point. And at the house that they were staying in, one of the demolition workers was telling a story about how a serial killer used to live there, and they would kill people and bury them in the basement. So maybe that's Art the Clown's story. Maybe that's his origin story. And yes, in the movie, the guy said he was just fucking around, but what if there's some truth to that story? There very well could be some truth to that we learn more about in Terrifier 4, but now is being used as a vessel of evil. So me personally, I would have to rate Terrifier 3 a 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie, as the chainsaw kill in particular had me moving in my seat. But what did you think of this movie? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, I appreciate you and your time. Stay chill, and I will see you next time.